Welcome back to the channel. Today, we're going to talk about our top 10 list. If you already saw that video, we sat down, the four of us, me and Emily, along with David and Jeremy, to talk about our top 10 games of the year. Of course, this was a crazy year.
It was.
Some games got missed, some games got left off, some games didn't get played. So we just kind of wanted to break that down with some of these videos and just kind of talk about the process.
Yes.
Obviously, like a startling omission.
Yeah.
From you.
Don't remind me of it.
We have a whole, and I thought this was great. You and David filmed a whole apology video for leaving Earth off.
We did film a whole video about Earth and why it got left off, how it got left off. So if you're more curious on that, how the heck, Emily, you love Earth, how was it not in your top 10? Go watch that video. I explain everything. I'm sorry again, and you should play Earth.
But I get how that happens. It's a weird thing to be like, okay, well, what year did this game come out?
Yes.
Because we got Earth so early, and like for me, one of the games I very strongly considered was Oathsworn.
Oh.
Which is a game, though, that came out in 2022. Technically speaking,
I see.
Even though a lot of people, including myself, did not get it until 2023, it was almost like, do I add this to my 2023 list? Because Oathsworn really was one of the great game experiences. And if I had played it in 2022, it would have been on
But it
my
came out
list.
so late that at the end of the year, you didn't feel like it was ready in time to put it on that list. But you didn't put it on this list either.
I didn't. So
it just
Oathsworn,
got
well,
missed.
David and I talked about this because we played through about half of Oathsworn now, and we're still loving it. So we were like, this is one that definitely deserves to be recognized.
Sure.
Just neither of us had it on our 2022 list, and it felt weird putting it on our 2023.
Well,
so
and there were a lot of good games this year, right? It was a good year for games. There was some that just barely didn't make my list, and I felt not great about them.
I like, you were joking about me having a single tier.
Well, that's because I was like, just do it. It's a cutting room floor. We have to do it. Only 10. But some of the ones like Nikojima for me was number 11. It would have been right
close.
there. And I was really sad because I was like, I had so much fun playing this game. I'm really looking forward to playing it again.
Yeah.
But it just barely doesn't make it. And it feels so bad because you're like, the difference between 10 and 11 isn't very large. But it's just like, we just stop at 10.
I had multiple games that could have filled that slot. Nikojima was one. I debated back and forth on Scholars of the South Tigers. I think what happened there was Scholars, because David even was like, you loved Scholars. I was like, yeah, but the last time I played Scholars was February.
Yeah.
So I think that the time away from it between then and now, and so many other games coming out, just kind of, I should have like gone back and like replayed Scholars within the last like month or so, and like, because I really do love what that game is doing, and I think like we've even talked about the whole South Tigers being like such a great trilogy. So yeah, it was just, that was an omission.
Well, and it's hard too for games that you haven't played that many times this year. You're kind of like, was it just those couple experiences that were really good, or is it that I just really like this game? Like another one for me was Dawn of Ulos. I really enjoyed that one. I did, but I was like, I don't know. Is it something I would get tired of after a while? And I don't think it is. But I just like the other games I had played more and was more sure of. So they were the ones who ended up making the list. But that one I really enjoyed. It was like chaotic kind of economy game where you're tiling. Yeah. I personally love the chaos of that game.
I'm surprised that it was. I mean, I know it was a good game.
Every time I see it on my list, I'm like, dang, this should have made top 10.
And there was like, I mean, there was so many. Like Darwin's Journey could have been on my top 10 easily. And then like, I had one, let's talk about an omission, because this is one like all year long I was looking forward to, Arborea. This is from Danny Garcia, the same designer that did Barcelona. And I loved Barcelona so much that I was like, and this is another like Euro style worker placement game with, and it's a beautiful looking game. And like all year I'm like, I need to get Arborea to the table because it could easily end up on my top 10 list, but then just like you run out of time.
You do. You really run out of time. And like for me, that was Search for the Lost Species. And I'm so upset that I haven't played that yet. Because I just like, I know I'm going to love it. I know I'm going to love it. I love Search for Planet X. I love deduction games. You and Jeremy have played it and you both really like it. I'm like, this for sure, if I had played this year, would have been on my top 10. But because I haven't played it, like I can't put it on my list.
Yeah, I can't believe we messed that up. We should have gotten you to play. And White Castle too.
Yeah, I liked White Castle. We played White Castle right after we recorded our video. And I like that one a lot too. It's just, honestly, it feels like a privilege of choice. Like we've had so many good games.
That is the
really
case.
Recently.
And there's so many great games that come out of Essen, and we can't possibly play all of them like between the time of Essen and when we do this video. For example, like Art Society, we just got last week. That game, I saw it at PAX. I've seen people talk, like, it looks phenomenal. Jeremy got a chance to play it. He said it was great. Like, I think I would really love Art Society.
Yeah.
But again, like, I still haven't played it.
Yes.
And like that one and Arborea, it'll be 2024 before we even play them. And then it's like, I did the same thing with Marrakesh last year. And it's like, will I want to put these on my 2024 list because they came out at the end of 2023. Just feels like sometimes these games slip through the cracks.
Well, and speaking through the cracks, just two more that I thought, like Books of Time and Wandering Towers were two also that were close up high on my list, but I was like, there's just been so many other games that I liked more. But Books of Time I played quite a few times this year, and every time I like it again. And I'm just like, this is a good game. I should keep playing it.
I'm going to be really honest that there's a little bit of manipulation when it comes to my top 10 list. A little bit. Books of Time was what I considered, but I knew that Nucleum and Barcelona were going to be in my top 10. And I was like, that's 3 board and dice games in my top 10. I was like, not that they're not deserved. They're all great games, but it's like when you have to, you're looking for, I had 20 games on my list.
Yes, yeah.
It's like when you're looking for ways to cut down to those,
you're
like,
you got to find some criteria in the end, right? To say something was slightly better than something else.
Right. I almost felt bad having my top 2 games were board and dice games, and I had 2 games from David Turtzi on there, Nucleum and Voidfall.
You like what you like, though.
I know. It's like
it's hard to get away from that.
Not that I want to inflate David's ego, one of the best game designers out there right now, but yeah, 2 of his games and almost 2 of Danny's games because I really think I would have loved that Arborea as well.
Anything else that you missed or anything that's
I'm sure there's a bunch of things that I'm sure people are going to be like, what about this game? Like Evenfall was one that we played where I was like, man, this is going to be top 10 for sure. Veil of Eternity ended up beating it out on my list, which is something I never thought was going to happen because Evenfall is the heavier, crunchier, more strategic game. Yeah. But there's something about how quick and easy Veil is to play.
Yeah.
Like it's that really elegant, it actually ended up surpassing Evenfall for me. So yeah, that's pretty much it. Those were kind of the things I had to determine as I was cutting my list.
You know what you can we can kind of guess what each other's are going to be too. So like for me, The Witcher Old World was really close. I was like 100% it's going to be on David's list. I'm sure we're going to talk about it, and I'll just talk about it when David talks about it.
Right. But as long as it gets mentioned, I'm kind of happy.
As long as it gets its time, it's due, it's fine.
Like I was really happy somebody mentioned Sky Team because that was like another one that I was like so close to my list. So yeah, if you couldn't tell, like. There's a lot that goes into making these lists. It's not as easy as just sitting down and naming 10 games, for sure. Especially for Emily, who put hours of work into her spreadsheet.
And then still missed Earth, but it's okay.
Go watch the apology video. Watch the top 10 video if you haven't. I think David's going to do another video with Jeremy where they're breaking down their top 10 lists as well and talking about some of their misses. So be sure to watch that as well. Maybe by the end of all these videos, we'll have kind of touched on all the games we really liked.
Hopefully. Let us know what we're still missing in the comments below, though.
It's going to be another glaring omission. All right. Well, thank you all for watching. See you next time. And until then, make sure everyone has fun at the table.